So for joint venture, so basically you need to identify the stakeholders, just like you've said. Investors, joint venture, partners, landowners, and you as the developer. Now, there are different levels of that. Different people have different expectations. So you are not going to meet everybody and they say they want the same thing. But the good thing is that if you're a good driver, you might be able to drive home a standard that they now come to. So you're the aggregator kind of. So for us, basically, it's important that we also profile who we deal with. There are many landowners that are greedy. Once we detect that, we step back because they won't make the job easy for you. We have even detected wrongly before where the person showed himself, afterwards. So it's important that you first of all detect that. It's important that you understand the end-to-end of what's going on. Sometimes they feel you're also taking advantage of them because they're people that actually need the help. So you need to also have that character to know that you don't cheat people. So one of the things we do that is very important is that when we speak, we stand as though we are also in their shoes. So even when we share joint venture agreements, the lawyers don't do too many changes because they realize that you're sitting on the other side. Now that is important. There's the negotiation, and I would use this to just talk about the negotiation part. There's the negotiation in which case you are trying to be Shylock and you're trying to get a good deal out of it, which is good. But the truth is that if you don't have a win-win situation in that negotiation, something is going to give. It's either somebody advises the landowner later, he feels cheated, he starts coming at you. You might have some timeline issues, so they get back to you and there's this aggression. So it's important for you to sit on both sides, particularly with the sharing formulas. You need to also count your cost. You need to understand that, look, how much is it to build this? Can I put in XYZ percentage on sort of inflation and anything that can happen? I mean, when you have BOQs, you have contingency, you have preliminary, but in cases like what just happened with the forex fluctuation and all, nobody expected that. I don't think it was in anybody's BOQ, so everybody had to go back to the drawing table. But it's important you count the cost because this is what's going to cost me to finish it. This is what your land value is. And whenever I'm giving them the land value, I'm giving them what I know it is today, even if I have prior information of how much they bought it. And I say, look, this construction cost as of today. This is also your land value when we finish the development. This is construction cost when we finish the development. Now, when you put that together, we're in a business relationship. So we're saying that this is yours, this is mine. From what I can see, our equity is 40, 60, 30, 70, depending on the area. For landowners and investors, first of all, for landowners, what I'm speaking about, you need to understand their pain points. Where are they coming from? People have different needs. Some just need money. Now, don't come from a point of, I can provide it to you for you and I will cheat you. No, just come from a point of, this money you need. Okay, maybe I should provide you an alternative accommodation if you're leaving the place to relocate somewhere else to come back. Now, are you coming back to a house you want to live in, or are you coming back to a house that you need cash flow? That can be the difference between a terrace and a two-bed. So you are almost, and that is why I said architects are always the best to do this, because you now begin to solve problems for them architecturally. So as opposed to some developers that know that they've paid an architect for a design, and the landowner is saying, no, I want this, and they're like, no, this is what you must do, because they've already paid and they don't want to go and pay more to the architect. But as an architect, you can come in and say, look, what are you looking for? Can I do something differently on your own unit so that you can accommodate this thing you want? And then I give you what can work in this area. But you need to understand them. The way we profile the clients as architects, to ask them for their brief, is the same way you profile the joint venture partner, to understand what they want. Sometimes it's as easy as, how many kids do you have? I'm doing this for my kids. So in our heads, we're thinking, if I can have deals where you say, oh, the man has 4 children, we have to divide it evenly. So we now begin to backwardly integrate and think of, okay, because it's 4 children, then we need to do something that can give him 4. So what can you do? Can give him 4. And if you can't work, yes, you can tell them you can't work. But you see, it's different, because a developer will come and say, I don't care if you have 4 children. This is the deal that works here. Sorry, take it or leave it. So there's a difference. And moving to the investors' end of it is simple. They just want their money back and good ROI. don't overdo it, don't overkill it. If you know you can't make up the ROI, because there are certain areas that cannot give you the margins you're looking for, try to come a little lower. For us, what we try to do is come a little lower, and if we can impress them, because you want them to come back, impress them, but lower the expectation, because you never know what can happen. Your cost can increase. There can be some drag. Sales, people might be slow to pay, so you need to understand that, because we don't really have what seems as if we have fraudulent developers. They are not really for it. The economy and the environment doesn't make it easy for them. So sometimes what you see is, yes, I agree, some are greedy, but sometimes what you see is they can't control it, so they're trying to just find a way around it, and it now looks dodgy. But what's important, we're really doing this business in a very tough, probably the toughest environment. So if any of these developers drop themselves in the UK, drop themselves in the US, have funding, 1 digit, once you get your approval, nobody's coming to block the place or lock it. Landowners are not going funny. They will be more successful there. So it's important that you profile these investors, know their appetite. A greedy investor that says, I want this in 3 months and I want to collect 10% a month, it can't work. Don't, out of pressure, collect that money. But the person that will understand it, look, it's going to take me 2 years. It's going to take me 14 months. This is what I can give you as a return, So you finish that negotiation with the landowner so that you can understand your costs and understand what you really need. You don't need to borrow all the money you need to build. You can borrow it to maybe fully carcass, right? And then you can now approach an investor. You now change your pitch completely. Get your signed agreements and now move to the investor and say, look, I have this deal. I want you to come in. This is the cost, but all I need is the money to take it to carcass. Basically, if I'm carrying this to carcass and it's costing me 200 million, 1 billion, this is the returns. In these returns, I intend to give you this, and show them how their money can come. They need to see it, that trace of how their money can come. If they see it, and then now show transparency. What we do as an organization is that even if you want to give us the money, we tell you, we already have our schedule of what we want to pay for. Please disburse to those. Even if it's an account we opened with you, please disburse to those people directly, so that you can have you feel that you have a bit of grip on what's going on. And when you disburse it, you can follow up through sort of groups or platforms that we can get them to have an eye on it, put cameras on the site, or show them supplies and all that. But basically, the whole essence of this is integrity and being as open as possible. Things go wrong. I mean, it's hard. People are very aggressive when it comes to money. So it's important that you do those negotiations. That's what has worked with negotiations with landowners. I just advise that people don't try to be greedy. Yes, there are times where you have to treat business as business and stand your ground and be firm. But I think in the art of that negotiation itself, just make it look like you are looking out for them. Make them understand you're looking out for them. Because if you are, and make sure it's a win-win situation, so you cannot shoot yourself in the foot, because some might be greedy. You have to tell them, look, it can't work, and be happy to walk away. Because I've seen so many walkaways that it might end up in regrets because they chose somebody else. But then again, they understand that you told them the truth, because they now find out and they're like, wow, maybe this person is offering me this more units out of greed, that's just to take the job. But then they now realize that it's not working. Or the person now uses substandard materials and all that. So that's pretty basically it.